Epstein with the Morning Flash Update. And this update is the morning of Wednesday. And we're at the 11th of September, 2024, about 8:15 a.m. You know, 9/11. Remember the date? Please take a moment out to at least think about this. And remember the attack, what went on, who the enemies were. They're still your enemies. And where we've come in all this time. That's all I can say. I certainly lost people I knew in the attack, and it's a sad event. All right, I remember where I was sitting. I hope you do. I couldn't believe what I was looking at on TV. Bad day. All right, bad debate. You heard what I just said. So we had the Harris-Trump debate. If anybody won, it was, in my opinion, Harris. Trump got goaded. He took the bait over and over. He's an ex-president. He should know better than to do that. Didn't have to go into how big his rallies are and people don't walk out. That was total nonsense. What Harris lost on was she never gave any details. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Okay? She kept saying, let's turn the page. In other words, let me run away from Biden. I'm Kamala Harris. I'm this person. Trump never got that going. He never pressed her. All right. So if you were to ask me who won, she introduced herself. She certainly held the stage well. She was polished. She was prepared. It's very clear that Chris Christie was right, that Trump decided to wing it. And in winging it versus a person like Biden, who was quite weak on the debate stage, sick, no sick, quite weak, she was much more polished, and she looked like a person that could have been an attorney. And she was an attorney, and she was prepared by attorneys, and she had worked over and over, and it showed. So in that sense, she got it. Where she missed terribly was she gave no details. So I know as much about her today as I knew then. Does she look more presidential than Trump on that stage? She did. Did she reach her hand out to shake his? Yes. He could have disarmed her by walking over. Doesn't do it. He can't do it. He's Trump, and that's what you've got. Will it have shook up the race? I'm not convinced that it did one way or the other. Taylor Swift came out, and that's important because young followers of hers may not know anything other than if she likes it, I like it. So you just don't know where that's all going to go. Okay? So that's the best that I can tell you on how to mention that. Now, there's another event that happened, so let's look at the events. The mortgage markets numbers came out, and as you can see, you've got increases positive in all the key parts, and the contract rate on 30-year fixed mortgage had dropped on the week ending September 6th. Now, we're already at the 11th to 6.29%. Hopefully, it drops even closer to 6. Consumer price index. Well, if you're looking for a reason for the Fed to go 50 basis points, go take a cold shower, because that isn't it. This is not going to do the job for you. Month over month up 0.2, but when you come month over month, ex food and energy, you were up 0.3. They expected 0.2, and the prior month was up 0.2. So as I've said all the way through, and I'm going to keep saying it, you're at the sticky part of inflation. It's not going up by very much at all, but it's not collapsing on you, and that's very important. And when you go to the other parts that move all the time, when we know energy was going to come down, just look at the board to see that. Food prices up 0.1, but as I pointed out yesterday at the end of the day, if you look at online food prices, they are totally crashing. So this doesn't just measure online. The CPI number year over year up 2.5% as expected, and that was 0.4 lower than prior. And ex-food and energy, it was about where the market has been. So I do not think this gives the Fed reason or cause to go for 50 basis points. I think this puts 25 basis point cut not only back in, but I think it cements it. So I could be wrong. We will find out. All right, so let's take a look. Sorry if you hear noise, construction going outside. But if you're looking at what's going on with the markets, as that report came out, you came well off the lows in the S&P to a slight gain. NASDAQ doing the same. Gold got hit on that. It went from the high to the low. and it's bouncing back at this point in time. Silver, gold is flip-flopping around, same in the copper with it. So is this where the markets are saying the Fed policy is going to come in and support the market? It could be. Bonds and notes, as I would expect and seeing that number, gave up well off the day's highs, as you can see, sinking back down. Hurricane Francine is making its way into the key areas right now. I am of the opinion that heating oil and gasoline will probably get sold more gasoline than heating oil on this rally. I welcome the rally in natural gas because I think it'll peak out sooner rather than later. When I look at the grain markets, well, you've got the bushels per acre report coming up for corn. You got to pay attention to that. Bitcoin, it got probably too cheap in the 54,000 range, but it doesn't seem to want to go anywhere at this point in time. I'm Ira Epstein. I'll catch up with you at the end of the day as we wrap more things up. You have a great trading day.